Hi, I'm Yvonne Prin with Bible 805, and today we are day 7 on reading through the New Testament, and we're in Matthew's chapter 13 and 14. And here he has a number of parables. He starts out with the parable of the sower, where the good seed is cast out, and some of it takes root and grows, some of it doesn't. And he goes on after talking about this. He has the parable of the weeds, where there's these weeds that are sown in with the good soil, and they all come up together. And then at the end of time, the angels separate out the good weeds from the bad weeds. He has the parable of the mustard seed and of the yeast, and both of these, how it's a little tiny thing, but it grows and really spreads. And the point of all of these is that the kingdom of God is not like anything that you expect. It grows in unexpected ways. Things that we don't think could choke it out can choke it out. And so it's really a an illustration that sometimes the best things in life aren't the most obvious, and sometimes we need to be careful of things that we're not always careful of, especially in the parable of the good soil of the sower. The passage in that strikes me the most, that I think that's really a challenge to me, is it talks about how the one who receives the word that fell among the thorns, that this is a person who hears the word. They hear it. It's not the church's fault or the preacher's fault or the leader's fault or whatever. They hear it and they take it in. But it says that the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke it and make it unfruitful. Wealth is deceitful and worries are deceitful. We really don't have anything to worry about if we belong to the Lord. So we need to just press ahead and do what we can do for the kingdom of God, because we want to be like the good seed that produces a crop yielding 160, 30 times what was sown in our lives. And he goes on and talks about the parables of the hidden treasure, the pearl of great price, how everything is worth selling, getting rid of, putting second, just for the sake of the kingdom of God. And after telling these different things, he goes to his hometown, and it's really interesting passage, which I think a lot of people can probably relate to, where he says, "A prophet is not without honor except in his hometown." And it's just amazing that even Jesus in his hometown, people didn't appreciate him. And I know many of you, probably trying to serve God, you feel like your families don't appreciate you, or maybe your church doesn't appreciate you. But take comfort. It was like that for Jesus, and keep doing what you're doing. Then in the next chapter, Matthew 14, John the Baptist is beheaded. And it's really, it's a very tragic thing. It's a very sad thing. And again, Jesus wants to go away and be alone when he hears from it. Remember, John wasn't just the prophet that foretold the people about him, he was his cousin. And I know I love my cousins very dearly. And if something happened to one of them, I would be really sad. And Jesus goes, he wants to be by himself. It says he withdrew to a solitary place, but the people followed him there. And instead of saying, "No, leave me alone. I want to be sad. I want to just take care of my needs," or whatever, it says he has compassion on them and he feeds the people. The disciples said they only had 5 loaves and 2 fish. And this great story, we all know what happened. You take a little bit that you've got, but you give it to Jesus, and he can use it in extraordinary ways. And if you don't feel like you have anything, if you feel like you're tired, you're exhausted, you don't have any more to give, Jesus can still give through you. And then the story of, they get in the boat, the waves come up, they see Jesus coming towards them. Peter goes out to meet him and he starts sinking. And he says, "Lord, help me." Jesus pulls him up out of the water. And the lesson, of course, don't focus on the waves, focus on Jesus, and you'll get to the other side.